When is the best time of day to shop? Or what day of the week is best to go to the supermarket? We're going to answer some typical questions that shoppers like you have about your supermarket. And maybe we'll answer the question that's always puzzled you. And here's something to think about. The average family loses up to $2,500 a year on unused food. Believe it or not, 1/3 of the food that's grown never even reaches our plate. That kind of waste impacts water, energy, and wildlife, and it costs you money. Well, what can we all do about this? Hi, I'm Michael Sansolo, and welcome to Shopping with Michael. We've got another interesting program for you with answers to all of those questions, and we'll be back right after this message.
Squirrels know how to save. They have to. But people, they're a different story. Some try coupons or check apps for the lowest price. Some wait for the word SALE. Many people, however, know that the lowest prices without coupons or special sales come when they regularly buy store brands. Food, beverages, household, health and beauty. Your supermarket, drug chain or mass merchandiser has store brands with comparable ingredients, taste and performance to more expensive national brands. A family of 4 can save $1,500 a year, and you can squirrel that away for other things you need to buy. Store brands, the real way to save.
All of us go to the supermarket, and there are these little things about the trip that we always wonder that may bug us. So we want to look at some of the questions that shoppers are most likely to ask about the different things we face when we go to the store. Let's start with one of the most basic. So what day of the week is the most popular for grocery shopping? As you might imagine, it's Saturday because there's a lot of two-wage earner households. A lot of folks have to balance both the family and what they do on the job. So most of us now go to the store on the weekend. Saturday has become the single most popular day for shopping. Now, the other side of this is, what day is the best to go to the store to avoid the crowds? Suppose you're sick of the lines, sick of the people, and you want to be there in relative peace and quiet. Well, then you may want to plan your shopping trip for a Monday or a Tuesday. Those tend to be the days of the week that draw the fewest shoppers, so you'll have the quietest time going through your store. Where do people do most of their food shopping? Today, there's competition from drugstores, warehouse clubs, supercenters, gourmet grocers, convenience stores, and of course, traditional supermarkets. And incredibly, those supermarkets are still the top choice for food shoppers. More than 80% of us use them regularly to buy our food. How many shoppers go to more than one store to buy their groceries? Well, if you happen to be one of the folks who does that, you got a lot of company. Over 40% of shoppers say they go to more than one store almost weekly to get all the things that they need. We know there are a lot of stores out there, and we use many of them. A lot of folks these days are putting a big emphasis on eating all fresh foods. So it raises the question, how many people shop at a grocery store each and every day of the week? Well, this may surprise you, but on average, about 30 million Americans go to the store and pick up necessities daily. That works out to about 1 in 7 adults who are shopping at any given time. What percentage of shoppers prefer locally grown food? Now, this is a topic we hear a lot about these days because shoppers have expressed a lot of concerns about eating processed foods, and also they want a sense of where is my food coming from, and if possible, can I eat products that come from somewhere near where I live? A lot of us work for this now. We think this is a good way to eat. Well, despite the higher cost, about 25% of shoppers say they specifically look for foods that are locally grown or locally sourced. Well, let's hope we answered some of the questions that you have about your supermarket shopping trip. We'll be right back taking a look at food waste right after this.
Billy works in a supermarket. He helps stock the shelves. One day, Billy figures out that there are 120,000 different items in a big modern supermarket. When he divided the number of items he usually stocks in a day into the total number of items in the store, he realized that it would take him nearly 4 years to get the job done. Of course, Billy is only responsible for the store brands, so his job is easier. There are thousands of store brand foods, beverages, snacks, health and beauty, kitchen and household products. Each store brand with quality comparable to the national brands, but less expensive. Billy smiled. Restocking store brands is a lot easier.
Waste not, want not. That's how the old saying goes. And when it comes to food, most certainly Americans don't want. Our farmers are among the most prolific and productive in the world. Our supermarkets offer an eye-popping variety of top-quality products and at prices that are within the reach of most. And there are programs that feed the less fortunate among us. But here are some unsettling figures. The average American throws away about 25% of all food and beverages purchased. Annual household waste for the country is over 40 billion pounds, or $43 billion. Think about this. 15% of products are thrown away unopened and within their expiration date. Now, we know where the culprits are. We don't plan our grocery list well enough. We make impulse purchases and we overbuy. So what can I do? What can you do? Well, cutting food waste begins in the store on your shopping trip. And this is kind of simple. Shop smart. Plan meals, use lists, and avoid impulse buys. You're less likely to buy things you don't need and unlikely to consume. And let's remember, in today's world, this is easier than ever to do. Take your cell phone. Take a picture of your refrigerator, of your pantry. So when you're in the store and you're trying to think, do we need, you can easily pull up a picture and see, oh wait, I have that. I don't need to buy more of it. Now beyond that, we've got to be realistic. Think about the size of your family. If you are now empty nesters, you used to have 3 kids home and now suddenly it's just you or maybe you and your spouse, you got to buy a lot less. We got to be thinking about what are we going to consume and buy to that. Now, some of the new things you want to think about. You're hearing a lot of talk these days about funny-looking produce. In the past, there were a lot of rules and regulations that certain produce items had to look a certain way so they'd be as pristine, almost camera-ready every time. Well, there's a lot of produce that certainly tastes great, it's healthy, it's got everything you want produce to have, but it may not look picture perfect. Well, a lot of these items you can buy, you can use, and they don't need to be thrown out. It's a way of cutting food waste, and you still get everything you're looking for. And once you come home, some easy steps you can follow. Practice something called FIFO, which is an accounting term, but believe it or not, you can use it in your kitchen. FIFO means first in, first out. Simple. When you're unpacking groceries, move older products to the front of the pantry and put the new ones behind them. That way you're using the older stuff before it expires, and the new stuff will then move forward. Also, designate a week in which you note everything that you throw out, so you keep track of what you're using and what you may be overbuying week after week. A lot of us do that. Plan your meals around products that are closest to the expiration date. Keep a list of items in the freezer, and when you froze them, or mark it right on the package, you could put a sticky note or something. That way you know what has to be consumed, what has to be cooked, and again, you reduce waste. Repurpose your leftovers. Use vegetable and meat scraps in homemade stocks. With citrus fruit, you can use the rinds to zest and add flavors to other meals. Lastly, don't forget you can donate. You got that can of beans in the pantry that you're never going to eat. Well, give it to a food kitchen before it expires so it can be consumed by somebody who really needs it. Food waste is a problem. It's really, really big. But what we have to remember are there are loads of little things each one of us can do to help make this problem go away or at least get a whole lot smaller. Well, that's another episode of Shopping with Michael. We hope we answered some of those questions that all of you have about your shopping trip and how to find maybe better times of the day or days of the week to avoid those big lines. And of course, we took a look at what all of us can do to reduce food waste and become smarter shoppers. See you next time.